Hello and welcome back to Suspend Information. I am your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and this is Project Blue Book, Season 2, Episode 1. We got the premiere back, the Roswell Incident, Part 1. Dun, dun, dun. Welcome, everybody. Let me get some business out of the way first, and then we'll get into it there. So if you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. You'll see that down below there. Also, if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, you can hit the bell. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you that I'm on live. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule up there. I change it every Monday. And it's also my Facebook page as well. Got that up there. And speaking of Facebook, there's a Facebook group chat which you guys can post stuff, talk amongst yourselves, all that kind of stuff. There's a Twitter, there's an Instagram, and there's also a Patreon page. No tier set up as of yet, but there will be. So what I do here is I'm going back to the recap format. So I'm going to recap it up quite quickly, or as quickly as possible, and then I'll go into the review at the end of this. So spoiler alert, I am going to spoil the shit out of the episode. If you have not seen the episode, go and watch it. Come on back. This will be a video. You can comment down below in the comment section. Thank you, Viking Bitch, for the lovely paddle. So, it's pretty much like these guys haven't left. It's pretty nice, even though it's been, they debuted last year. That was one of the first shows I covered here for this channel, and I like it quite a bit. So, we go back to where we kind of left off, where Quinn had been up in a jet, chasing those flying lights and all that stuff, and he's thinking back on this about shooting it. And basically, Hynek had saved his ass in court, saying that he suffered some kind of hypoxia, hallucinated whatever it was that he thought he saw, and didn't see what he really saw, so that they could keep Project Blue Book open. And he's thinking back on it. Quinn is thinking back on this and remembers the ship, his plane losing power, then all of a sudden floating, and the lights, the ball of light, like right in front of his face, essentially. And he says to Hynek, he goes, "Well, maybe I did hallucinate it. Maybe that this all was a hallucination to begin with." And Hynek's like, "What the fuck are you talking about, man?" And in the meantime, Harding's over in his office telling Valentine that he got another phone call in the middle of the night at his house about Roswell, and he's sick of this. He's going to go to Roswell and he's going to fucking finish it once and for all. And they actually used the F word. I was kind of surprised. It was on the History Channel. I was like, hey, all right, not bad. And he basically says that he wants Project Blue Book to come in and officially close Roswell with him at this point. So he's going to take Hynek and Quinn with him. And before they, as they leave, Valentine pulls Quinn aside and says, "Hey, if you see anything unusual, call me immediately." And Quinn's like, "All right, cool, we'll do that." So, yeah, so Quinn and Hynek, they land and all this stuff, and Harding introduces them to Blackstone, General Blackstone, and then they get whisked away straight to this room that has all these files in there that are mostly redacted. So they're basically, it's bullshit files at this point. And Quinn's like, "What the fuck are we doing here?" And Hynek's like, "We just need to find some information. We know somebody knows something about what happened here. We just need to find out what's going on." And so while Harding is talking to Blackstone, an alarm goes off and they get word of a downed aircraft nearby. So everyone goes piling in the Jeeps, hauls ass out there. They see this black plume of smoke, but really it's a tire fire with an upside down flag. So for those of you in the military or whatnot, an upside down flag means distress, is what that means. That's what you're supposed to do when you're in distress, is you hang a flag upside down. And there's a box with Harding's name on it, and Hynek grabs the box, and there's a lock on it, a combination lock, and he asks Quinn, he goes, "What was the date of the Roswell crash?" And he remembers it as well, and he uses that to open up the box. And inside there's a note that's saying that they're tired of the bullshit of Roswell, that at 9 a.m. tomorrow, they're going to announce to all of New Mexico and bring some evidence as to what really happened out at Roswell. And at this point, Harding's kind of pissed off. He's also freaking out. Yeah, I know. What's the fucking box? And so basically, Hynek comes up with an idea to go to the local TV station, get ahead of it, and basically have the TV station not give any word about what's going on there. And Harding says, "That's a good idea. Go and do it." And basically, Hynek tells Quinn, all the classified info um, that he's been privy to all this time. He's getting some information somewhere from his source, and he basically says that this is what happened during the Roswell crash. Harding was involved in it, and he has a lot of the redacted information already in his mind. And Quinn wants to know where he got it from. And he's like, "I've got a source, a different source now, and it's pretty good," is what he says. So they get into town. And Hynek has called Mimi up, and Mimi has the notebook that has this source material in it. And she's looking it up, and he goes, "I need something from 1947, possibly mentioning about the ranch. See if you can find anything and get back to me," is what he tells her. In the meantime, Quinn is talking to our nice little Russian spy, Susie, who is now his girlfriend. And yeah, it's dude, I swear he's asking for it now at this point. So Quinn goes in and tells the TV manager not to broadcast anything or else kind of thing. And the TV manager's like, "Cool, we're not going to broadcast anything." He goes, "I'm a patriot. I don't want to lose my license like last time." And they're like, "Well, what do you mean like last time?" He goes, "Back in 47. He goes, "Never mind. It wasn't anything, important." And they go outside. And Hynek basically tells Quinn that this used to be the radio station before it turned into the TV station. They were the ones that first broadcast what happened with the crash. They were the ones that actually broadcast all the panicked calls coming into the station. And the government took all those calls, all the tapes of those calls, and took them with them. So, yeah, there's no evidence. And of course, obviously, everyone was threatened at this point in time. So, Hynek tells, Quinn, sorry, I actually was already talking about that. So Hynek thinks someone in town has evidence of the crash and tells Quinn they need to find out who it is so they can expose Harding's lies and get to the truth. And Quinn at this time is kind of apprehensive. And Hynek's like, I know you saved your life and everything, but we need to get the truth out there. We need to get to the bigger project of what's happening here. So Harding goes out and visits Mike Connors. Mike Connors was the ranch that we all know from the Roswell story of what happened. His was the ranch that supposedly the weather balloon crashed on. And he tells Connors, "I got your message. And what happened? Did you blow through all the money already that I gave you and everything?" He goes, "I got more. Just give me what it is that you've got." And Connors is like, "I don't have anything, man. I'm keeping my secret. Everything's good." And he goes, "And by the way," because I wish I never took that money from you in the first place because, it ruined me essentially, mentally. Harding, of course, doesn't believe him and sends in the MPs to rough the fuck up, basically rough him the fuck up at this point. And Connors is screaming as he's getting dragged away. The whole town knows what he did and they're not going to stand for it anymore. So Mimi, in the meantime, goes to a UFO meeting that's happening in the back room of a library or a bookstore. I can't really tell what's going on there, and meets Evan. And Evan is the one that she's been getting all her notes from. And she asks if she can get some more of his notes on the Roswell stuff. And he goes, "Well, I'll be back next week." He goes, "I can, copy you over some stuff." And she goes, "No, it's kind of like an emergency. I need it now. Can I borrow your book?" And she's going by the name Betty at this point. So he's like, "Sure, just get it back to me," and he gives her the book. And there's another woman that's in the room too. And she, after Betty leaves, she looks over at Evan and says, "By the way, her name's not Betty. I know who she is." And "You don't know who she is?" And Evan's like, "No, who?" And, so obviously the cat's out of the bag now at this point. So Hynek gets the info from Mimi. She relays it to him, and he and Quinn go to visit Duncan Booker, who isn't at home but has a map. And basically, he looks like he's the one that set the tire fire. There's a map, there's pictures, all kinds of shit. And as Quinn is looking at the map, he goes, "There's a second crash site." And at this point, Hynek has gone outside because he sees something out in the yard. And Booker comes by, sees somebody in his house, and takes off running. So Quinn goes, "Hey, don't run. We're with the Air Force." And Booker stops. Yeah. In the meantime, Hynek finds a UFO out in the backyard under a tarp. Basically, a saucer is what he finds. A fully built saucer out there. So they're talking to Booker, and they're like, he says, "I'm not responsible for the fire." And, they ask him for a story, and he doesn't want to tell it at first until Hynek goes, "You know what? We can't help you unless you help us. Tell us what your story is." And he goes, "Well, I'm not the only one who saw it. Judy also saw it too, my girlfriend at the time. We were out making out in the field when we actually saw the thing came down at the crash site." He goes, "So I drove over there. Judy told me not to. We saw the hatch open." He goes, "That's when we ran for it, you know?" And she goes, and then we called the feds. And she goes, "And when the feds showed up, they pressured us into signing that all we saw was a weather balloon." He says, "Judy signed the paperwork like that and then took off out of town." He goes, "We were going to get married and all this stuff. That's not happening anymore." And he goes, "Maybe it, also having to do with Harding threatening us to bury us out in the desert if we said it was anything else other than a weather balloon." And they're like, "Really? So you were threatened?" And there's like, "Yeah, you know." So Valentine's on the phone, and he tells Harding basically button up the town. He goes door to door if you have to, kind of thing. And Harding's like, "I know what I'm doing. What the fuck I'm doing. Get off my back. I'm gonna do it my way. Don't tell me what to do." And basically, they're bickering like a bunch of old ladies at this point. And he hangs up the phone on him. Susie, in the meantime, is going through Quinn's house, and she's remembering back. She finds a lipstick canister, which she conveniently dropped in his place, which I think is a recording device, and she leaves it in his house. And of course, we leave off there. We don't get much of Susie. We get more of Mimi than we do of Susie. Susie's just there to let you know that she's still there, kind of thing. So Hynek and Quinn are talking about what they found as they're driving along, and they come to a checkpoint, a quarantine zone that Roswell is now quarantined. No one can go in or out. And as they're talking to the soldiers, someone starts shooting at them and shooting at the barricades. And the soldiers go taking off after the shooter takes off too. And they're like, "You know what? It's time we need to find out what the fuck's going on." So they go back and they go into Harding's office, or Blackstone's office, really, and go, "What the fuck's going on? Someone was just shooting at us. What really crashed?" And that's when Harding tells Blackstone to take off because he needs to talk to the boys. And he goes, "You're right." He goes, "It wasn't a weather balloon that crashed. It was a spy balloon called Project Mogul, where we were trying to basically record the Russians' atomic bomb testings, their seismic activity is what it was." And he goes, "No one was needed to know about that. That's what the crash cover up was all about." So Quinn goes, "Yeah, that's kind of believable," out when he's outside. And Hynek's like, "Yeah, I'm not falling for that piece of shit. That's a bullshit story," is what he says. And yeah. So as they're talking about this, as they're arguing about this, these soldiers come running by and go, "The shooter is nearby. We know he's setting off smoke bombs as he's going. He's running this way. His name is Stuart Terry. He's a former soldier." And Hynek sees him running and says he's over there. And Quinn takes off after him. And there's smoke bombs that go off. And as the smoke clears, we see that Quinn has captured him and's got him, face down on the ground. And Terry had confessed to the checkpoint shooting, but not the fire. So we still don't know who set the tire fire at this point in time. Who's doing the tire fire? We didn't start the fire. For those of you Billy Joel fans out there. So Evan, in the meantime, knocks on Mimi's door and says, "Oh, you do live here. This is Alan Hynek's house." And she invites him inside and apologizes for lying about who she was. And he goes, I thought you were with the FBI at first because the FBI has been infiltrating all our groups and stuff like that. And she goes, well, why? He goes, because we're spreading the truth out there and they're trying to do a cover up. He goes, and now we're enemies of the state because of this. He's explaining this to her. And he goes, but if we have a direct line to the man who is actually actively fighting for us, Alan Hynek, I'll give you all the information you want as long as you give it to Alan, your husband. And she's like, all right, because then that's the way we can blow the lid off the cover up, is what he's saying. So Hynek and Quinn are in the hospital because Quinn got a little bit of a burn and was getting that fixed up when they see Terry get wheeled in. And Terry, Stuart Terry's all beaten the fuck up. He wasn't when they captured him, but now he is. And they go over there, they send the MPs away and they go, who beat you up? And he goes, some guy with white hair. Basically, he's describing Harding. And he says, you know what? I kept my secret from the crash. I didn't say anything. It wasn't me. I didn't start the fire. I was just shooting at the checkpoint because I didn't want this shit to go on again like what happened last time. And they were like, well, what's your secret? And he says, well, there was a second crash site. Then he goes, there was a more secure crash site. And I was assigned as a young kid out there as a soldier to protect it. And he says, I had my gun out there. I saw something out there. I yelled, shot in the air. It kept running. And he goes, and I shot at it again and I killed it. He goes, and I felt it. He goes, I felt it when it hurt. So he says, I went back to the base, came back the next day, grabbed the body and buried it under a tree on my property, is what he says. And it's still there. It's an alien, basically. He's got the alien body. Yeah. So just then, as he says this, an air raid siren goes off, and they're like, what the hell is that? And they look outside, and we see a saucer in the middle of the street kind of crash. And it looks like the same saucer that was in Booker's backyard. And we see the hatch start to open. And that's where we leave off on the episode. So, not slow, but not fast either. It's fairly evenly paced. It was a slow burn. I actually like this. It was a good start to the season. We're coming back to Roswell, and we're finding out what happened at this point. So I'm actually happy with where we're going with this. Doesn't everyone keep a saucer in their backyard? I don't have a backyard, so no. You better keep that saucer hidden, Pen, or I'll sick the Space Force. Yeah. Mimi in the Meantime sounds like a band. Meantime, back at Mimi's place. That's my announcer voice, by the way. Welcome to Movie Phone. Press 1 for more options. I used to do a movie phone impersonation just for the hell of it. Would you like to see Debbie Does Dallas? Press 1. And I hope they don't keep up with the waffling back and forth about, well, maybe it was just X after all they've seen. I think we're past that, Apple Crow. They've seen the aliens. Quinn is still the one that is the skeptic. Quite honestly, he still wants to believe that everything's hunky dory with the government, even though he knows better. And Hynek, in the meantime, is like, no, fuck this shit. It's real. We need to blow the lid off of this thing. Yeah. Hey, Ejar. Sorry, man. If you want to see Debbie Does Dallas, I think it's on YouTube. You can go and look it up. It most likely is on Pornhub, so you can go there. I don't know what that is, but I've heard the kids talk about it. So, yeah, some good stuff, man. Everything, I mean, they're not missing a beat either as they're doing this. I want to see a little bit more of Susie. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. No, I actually want to see more of the character Susie coming into this. I'm guessing we're going to get that next episode. And it looks like from the, on the season 2 of Project Blue Book, there's going to be some more of that in there too. So I'm having fun with this series. I like this series a lot. Season 1 was a treat, quite honestly. and I think season 2 is gonna be just as good, and I'm happy with it. What everyone else think? You guys like it? I know Apple Crow, you just kinda pounded through that whole first season pretty quickly here. Yeah, it did show, that was my joke, Apple Crow, that it did show a lot more of Susie. She was wearing that lingerie. So, you liking it, Pen? Good, yeah. Um, yeah, we know you pound a lot of things, Apple Crow. Um, so yeah, it's fun. As long as you don't take it as gospel, it's perfect. I look at it this way, it's not revisionist history or anything like that. It's just fiction because who knows what really went down, you know? And yes, it does fill the X-Files void because Chris Carter obviously can't do that shit. As what was it, season 13 or season 14 or whatever it was that was pretty shitty. The last season of X-Files that they did for Fox. Yeah, I don't think that's coming back now that the mouse owns Fox, and with good reason. Yeah. You blocked it all out. I don't blame you. I wish I could. There just isn't enough alcohol in the world, unfortunately. So yeah, some good stuff, and, man, we got a lot of stuff coming up here. I'm off tomorrow and Thursday. Friday, I come back with Harley Quinn, episode 9. Saturday, I do Saturday Morning Blast Off, where I take the genre news of the week and any of the genre stuff you guys wanna talk about. And Sunday is Avenue 5, where we see what's going on. I'm gonna bring that up to, 7:45 PM my time. So that's where I'll do it because I know it starts at 7 and ends at 7:30. So I am always off, EJR. I try to be. And of course, Monday is going to be Is It Worth My Time? And I think I'm going to do Godzilla King of the Monsters, this last Godzilla movie that came out with uh, Millie Bobby Brown. Yeah. Applecross is the last season of X Files was like the Star Wars prequels. There was some good stuff in there, but you just have to get through way too much. Was there anything good? I thought there was like maybe a half an episode that was good. The rest of it was just shit, complete and total shit. I don't know. Maybe that's just my brain saying, nope, didn't like it. It's all shit. My brain does that sometimes. Actually, a lot of times. Um, What else? Oh, we've got I don't know if you saw the announcement today, but Altered Carbon season 2 is coming back. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that's coming out. So I'm gonna have to figure out how I'm gonna do this. I don't know if I should do Altered Carbon all at once, episode by episode, or how it's gonna be. I don't know how Anthony Mackie is gonna be, to tell you the truth. This is a dry run for how Falcon and Winter Soldier is gonna play out. I still don't have confidence in Anthony Mackie being the leading man. I really don't. I think he does better in ensembles. I haven't seen him carry anything himself, which kind of worries me. So, Pen Farm Girl says, I'm curious to see if Avenue 5 ends up on the best of 2020 list. Couldn't tell from the premiere, but it has potential. Yeah, I don't know where it's going with either at this point. We also have Westworld coming back, by the way. Westworld season 3 is coming back on March 1st, I think, or 15th. It's either the 1st or the 15th. It's on my suspendedfanimation.com. It's on there. And yes, I am covering that. It's going to be on Sunday up against Avenue 5, I guess. So that's going to be kind of weird. Yeah. Yeah, both of them are on HBO actually, so it should be one after the other. Or unless Westworld is first and then Avenue 5 is later. We'll see if Avenue 5 actually makes it past the 4-episode rule anyway. Now that there's 8 episodes, someone that had worked on the production of Avenue 5 Says there are 8 episodes, by the way, Pen. They actually left a comment in the comment section, which was kinda cool that someone working on the production, left a little comment. At least someone's watching. Anthony Mackie, Bob's kid, is making Cher's outfits now. Yeah, that is the one. Yeah. Yeah, 8 episodes seems to be the weird new norm for HBO. I don't know why. It really is just kinda weird, but, there's a lot of stuff being released at the end of February. If you don't have the content for 12 episodes, then yes, 8 to 10 episodes, perfect. If you do have the content for 12, 13 episodes, do it. Yeah. Otherwise, it just comes out, like you rushed things, and that's happened before too. There's gotta be a happy medium someplace in there. I don't know what it is. Fans are a fickle lot. They really are. So many people are being pissed off about, what was it? Episode 5 coming out for Rick and Morty, which is just hilarious because I guess it was supposed to come out this last week and it didn't, and so everyone's, but instead, they're doing a Pringles ad that is a Rick and Morty's Pringles ad for the Super Bowl, and they released a, like, little preview of it, and everyone's just bitching about why episode 5 hasn't come out yet. So, it's pretty hilarious. Ejar says, 2 better than the British, 5 less than basic US shows to play with the extra salary investment. Yeah, somewhere around there. Possibly. I don't know. They just need to pay for Harvey Weinstein's bail. That's what they're trying to do. That's why it's more than 5. Um, did I say that out loud? I did. You have to be really intelligent to get episode 5 of Rick and Morty. Thanks, Apple Crow. Yeah, if you don't get it, then you just kind of don't get the show and shouldn't be watching it because it's not for you. My God. Ugh. And if you want to hear more snark like that, come on in, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the very end. There's going to be a video that pops up here. Basically, what that does is YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos in my vast video library, and they pop it up there just for you. Up here, oh, as I shake everything, is going to be Is It Worth My Time? BBC's Dracula is what's going to be. Spoiler, it's not worth your time. I know, I just don't get it. Story of my life, man. Come for the snark, stay for the snark. Snark. uh, I'm surprised no one's done a meme with that. Snark from the Thundercats. Instead of doing snark, you put in snark, a little meme of him doing the snark. I think that's a new thing now. There we go. I didn't think of that until now. Oh, I'll have to use that in a comment section someplace. Does the S in SBO really stand for snark? No, it stands for shithead, is what it stands for. Yes, Pen, I guess it does. It stands for son of a bitch. See, that's why it was originally called SOB, but I had to change it over to SBO. That's what it was originally called. Yeah. So, with that said, good episode, lots of fun. Go and watch it. Looking forward to next week of what's going to happen. Uh, Budgets may still be paying off Game of Thrones sets and location costs. No, they actually, Joe Greer, what they really did, They took the sets for Game of Thrones and they've made it into an amusement park, complete with, and I shit you not, they have a craft service so you can eat the same food that, well, somewhat of the same food that, the crew did, because they still have craft services there. So supposedly it's, like, really shitty food that's really expensive, and they have, like, picnic tables and whatnot, so you can sit there and eat some really shitty food at this out of the way location because there's nothing else around them. I thought that was hilarious. Yeah, well, the Starbucks came in from, they flew that in on the helicopter. That's why it got its own scene. Ejar says, "I kinda liked, the Project Blue Book satire in episode 5 of Rick and Morty." Um, I don't remember that one. I might have to go back. Which season was that, Ejar? Was that the 1st season? Or is that, was that this season? I don't remember. I've watched all of this season's. I just don't remember half the stuff. Everything else is vying for attention in my brain right now. Oh, the current season. Okay. I honestly don't remember. I'd have to look at it again. So, anyway, I'm gonna let you guys go for the night. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Thank you if you made it this far in the video and this rambly portion of it. The Space Snakes one. Okay, yes, I remember the Space Snakes one. That's right. I remember that now. Yeah. Remember, like, share, and subscribe. Um, and yeah, remember, take a look at the video at the end if you're still on the fence about subscribing. Um, until Friday, actually, is when I'll see you for Harley Quinn. Until then, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, Harding may come after you. Just send some MPs because he doesn't believe that you said what you said you did, that you didn't do. Or maybe not. I don't know. I'm confused. That's why he sent the MPs to beat me. Anyway, I will talk to you later. Have a good night, everyone.